Okay, simple discount notes. Here's your objectives. We'll define some terms, find the bank statement, discounts and proceeds, find face value, effective interest rate, and understand the US Treasury bill. I don't know if we're going to go that in deep with that. I don't really care about it, but we'll see. Okay, simple interest. Go ahead and if you are a note taker, you'll want to take note of this. Simple interest is equal to face value, which is your also known as your principal, but the program does give it to you listed as face value, plus your interest, and that's going to give you maturity value. For simple discount, it's going to be proceeds plus discount is going to be equal to the face value. Again, write down each of those pieces. You could get any combination on your homework. If you've turned something into me, I have not graded it yet because I'm still trying to get stuff from everybody, so I can end up updating everyone's grades at the same time. Okay, good to go. Okay, calculating bank discount. Bank discount is equal to, let's see if there's one more. Oh, nope. I tried and it told me no. Bank discount is equal to your face value times your discount rate times time, or you can see there that they're giving that some acronyms, or what's that called? Like not an acronym, but I don't know, little symbols. I don't remember the
abbreviation.
There you go. English words. Look at you. Good job. Okay. So yeah, the stuff you're gonna see in the homework. I can tell you that for that was exam 2. If you haven't turned in exam 2 yet, there's a section where you literally can it's just abbreviations that you have to tell me what they mean. Okay. All right. Proceeds is equal to face value minus your bank discount. It can also be face value is equal to proceeds, which is your loan amount, plus bank discount. Again, they give it to you also in terms of abbreviations. I would call them math symbols, but they're literally just letters, and they're not even algebraic ones. So just being lazy, I guess. All right, you guys got that? Cool. Let's look at an example because that's where we really learn, right? Jim Peterson signs a simple discount note with a face value or maturity value of $35,000 so that he can purchase a truck with plow, not a truck with a plow, but a truck with plow for his snow removal business. The banker discounts the 10-month note at 9%. Find the amount of the discount and the proceeds. Right. Peterson does not receive the $35,000 from the bank. That is the amount he must pay when the loan matures. So you can see here that the bank discount will be $2,625. Here they took the maturity or the face value times the discount times time. All right. And then they subtracted off from the loan amount. So that's the actual price that he would receive. Now, let me tell you something about banks. When you get a loan like this, he may have received this big honking check here. But I mean, the reason he went into the bank was to buy this business truck, right? So he told the bank it was for his business. He was going to buy a new truck with a plow on it so he could do snow removal. Now, the bank, in a way, you would like to think, well, it's my money, so I can do what I want with it, right? That is 100% true if you are the one putting the money into the bank and then you are using your money for whatever you may seem you want to use your money for. Most people using it legally, but hey, whatever, it's your money, don't get caught, whatever, not saying anything. So, but he probably is not going to see any of that money. That money is going to go directly to the dealership and it's going to pay off the total amount of the truck. And then he will have to pay the bank back the $35,000. The bank essentially owns that truck until he does so. Now, when you buy a car off the lot, you're essentially doing the same thing, except instead of owing the bank, instead of getting like that weird little discount, or instead of getting anything kind of like that, the bank goes, okay, you want this loan? All right, we'll buy your vehicle. Well, now you have to pay us to get the title back. So basically, that's what he did. He just chose to go into the bank first instead of going into the dealership first. Okay, make a little bit of a parallelism there. You can do that as well. Okay, you can shop around for car loans and you can actually go to the bank first. And sometimes that actually ends up saving you some money. When you do it that way. And basically, what happens is you kind of take away the power from the car salesman. So you can go into the dealership with a check already in hand for however much money. And then basically, when that salesman is like, well, we'll give you this vehicle, but it's going to be this much money, then you say, no, this is what I have and this is what I'm going to get my car for. So it kind of takes away a lot of their power in bargaining. Just don't let yourself be kind of taken advantage of. Um, what else? Oh, on a similar vein, if you are end up unfortunately being like me, but hopefully you won't, and you will learn from my poor past experience. Um, I am sad to say that I had a very hard time with some credit cards, and I actually ended up getting a personal loan through the bank to pay off my credit cards. And so I'm basically paying the bank back. But the upside in that is that instead of paying for 24% interest, I am now paying at 17% interest. And I'm actually seeing the money going down as I pay it off, which is a lot nicer than not seeing any change whatsoever. So, yeah, scary stuff. But, you grow up sometime and you have to take responsibility. So, um, but slightly relevant to class. So, hey, there's that. Have some life stories for you. All right. Um, face value to achieve desired proceeds. You guys know what to do with all this, so we're good to go. All right, let's look at another example. Tina Watson purchased a classic 1961 Corvette and plans to rebuild it. Why you would buy one of those disassembled, I don't know. I think she means that she's going to see what needs to be rebuilt, but again, English not the best forte for math textbooks. She estimates that she will need to borrow $18,000 for 180 days. Find the face value of the 10% simple discount note that would result in the proceeds of $18,000 to Watson. So you plug everything in. She's going to have to pay back almost $19,000. That's not to mention the price of the car. All right. Anybody have any questions on that? All right, let's keep it going. The owner of a medical supply store has been offered loans from 2 different banks. Each note has a face value of $75,000 and a time of 90 days. On note one, one note has a simple interest of 10% and the other has a simple discount rate of 10%. Identify the better deal. Okay, so let's check out this difference. And if you haven't already done the homework, you will have to do this quite a lot. And try to keep everything organized, or it will end up messing up on you and you won't know why. So just keep everything organized. So what interesting thing do you see here? Okay. Oh, a little too fast. All right. So with the simple interest, we have a face value of 75,000. With the simple discount note, we have an amount of 73,125. So the borrower has use of the whole 75,000 with a simple interest note, but only 73,125 with a simple discount note. Interest is the same, so the simple note is the better deal in this situation. Why? Because they get the full amount. Make sense? Cool. However, simple interest notes are not necessarily better than simple discount notes. You must examine the terms and find the maturity value of each. Okay, so don't just assume that simple interest is better. Make sure you figure it out numerically and kind of weigh what's going on. All right, find the effective interest rate. Truth in Lending Act requires that interest rates be given in a form that can be easily compared. Effective rate of interest, also called annual percentage rate or APR or true rate. Interest rate is calculated based on the actual amount received by the borrower. Stated rate, or nominal rate is the rate written on the note. It is not the effective rate. So again, you guys can look that up at any point in time. All right, let's work at some examples. Find the effective rate of the interest APR for the simple discount note of the previous example. Recall that I was equal to 1875, the discount, and that the proceeds are 73,125, and time was equal to 90 over 360. That's just repeating what we had before. You guys can't see this, but there is a little baby walking outside and he just kind of face planted on our door. Hi, you're really cute. Babies are cute, but I think they think I'm scary. Wish I could show him to you so you didn't think I was crazy. All right. Use the formula R equals I over PT. And you will end up finding that the rate is equal to 10.26%. Okay. I don't know about you guys, but I think that is like the best stage for children. When like they can kind of walk on their own, but they're not great at it yet. I might be a really messed up future parent, but I think that's hysterical when you can just like observe them banging into stuff and you're like, you shouldn't laugh, but you totally do. I think I blame YouTube. That's really what it is. I've grown up with YouTube kind of, and I blame it for the fact that I find that hysterical. Okay. All right. So the US Treasury bill, we'll go over this, but I highly would suggest not asking me too many questions about it and just go to Google because I can't tell you if this has changed at all. Not really sure. Again, even though it says copyrighted 2019, this was originally written in 2011, so some changes could have happened. All right, so the US government borrows very large amounts of money from banks, financial institutions, pension funds, wealthy individuals, and foreign governments. The US is ridiculous and basically will borrow money whenever they feel like they need to and pretty much don't repay it unless they're kind of told they have to. That's kind of including our stimulus bills today, or our stimulus, I guess it's a bill. I don't know. They have to get it approved and passed and everything. But we will not see the time when that stuff needs to be repaid. But I mean, depending upon how lucrative your family ends up being, decades from now, our children's children will probably have to pay some form of that back. And of course, they'll probably be a little bit angsty because they won't have understood how any of it helped them. All right. United States government uses U.S. Treasury bills or T-bills to borrow for less than 1 year. An individual can buy T-bills directly from the government through a broker. T-bills use discount interest. All right, so I'm going to assume this will be an example using a T-bill. I have never heard of a T-bill, so this is highly interesting to me, and perhaps I will look into it, but I highly doubt I will ever trust the US government enough to purchase one. The president of a small bank in Mexico is worried that the peso is going to fall in value, so he purchases $1 million in US T-bills for safety. The T-bills are at a 4% discount rate for 26 weeks. Find A, the total purchase price, B, the total maturity value, C, the interest earned, and D, the effective rate of the interest. Okay, so we know that they want $1 million face value. We know that the US offers a discount of 4% and that the time was given as 26 weeks. So the final purchase price is going to be $980,000. Ah, too quick. The maturity value is of course 1 million and the bank interest is the 20,000. You guys could have figured that out from the beginning. Okay. The effective interest rate is going to be to work out to 4.08%. Any questions on section 9.3? Some of you may have already gone ahead and done section 9.3, so homework, so stop it. Well, now that all of YouTube has apparently seen my schedule, luckily, I don't really care. All right. Okay. We have plenty of time to finish up chapter 4 or chapter 9, and then we'll hopefully be able to head in chapter 10. Discounting a note before maturity. There's your objectives. Okay. A note, and this is not the kind that you find in your high school locker. A note is a legal responsibility for one individual or firm to pay a specific amount on a specific date to another individual or firm. I think we talked about this, in chapter 8 or something, where like a firm or a company can choose to pay someone with a note and cash or something like that. So this is coming back up. Okay. Notes can be bought and sold just as any automobile can be bought and sold. I'll be honest with you guys, I've never seen anyone just randomly on the internet or anything like that being like, hey, do you want to buy my note? I'm sure people would think at this point they were talking about a cell phone. Okay, understand the concept of discounting a note. For example, a company that manufactures boats, a retailer that sells the boats, and a bank may do business as follows. One boat manufacturer sells boats to a retailer, accepts a promissory note instead of cash. The boat manufacturer needs cash and sells the note to a bank before it matures. The retailer pays the maturity value of the note to the bank when due. All right. So here we have a little bit of this cash flow system, right? Promissory note to the manufacturer, manufacturer to the bank. All right. And then the other way is boats to the retailer, retailer pays the bank, cash proceeds. There you go. All right. Discounting a note. Discounting the note means finding the value of the note before it matures. Discount period is the number of days until the note matures. And bank discount or discount is the reduction from the maturity price paid by the bank. Discount rate is the percentage rate used by the bank to find the amount of the discount. So all of these definitions, right now I know they just look like a bunch of words on the screen. That's because they are, because that's what all definitions are. But when you go through the homework, you will be able to have more of a better handle on what each of these pieces are, because you are asked to find them quite a few times. Side note, no pun intended. I believe chapter 10 is like your lowest amount of problems. All right. Proceeds, the amount received by the seller of the note. Right. Finding the proceeds when discounting simple interest notes. Proceeds are the amount of cash actually received by the seller on the sale of the promissory note. Recourse, bank receives reimbursement from the seller if the buyer does not pay the bank when the note matures. That's kind of cool, I guess, for the bank. The bank is protected against the loss. All right. Okay. Calculating the proceeds when discounting a simple interest note. First, understand simple interest note must be found by finding A, the due date of the original note, and B, the maturity value of the original note. So here we have a couple of formulas. Can I push it again? Yes. Can I do it again? Yes, there we go. All right, take a look at this one. Discount the simple interest note by finding the discount period, which is the time, for example, number of days or months. Depending upon the type of loan, I guess it could be years, from the sale of the note to the maturity date of the loan, or sorry, of the note. Find the discount using the formula maturity times discount times period, and then find the proceeds after discounting the original note by subtracting. Okay. Questions on this kind of stuff? Obviously, there we go. We have a nice example. That's what I wanted to see. But your homework is really going to help you understand a lot of this material. Jameson Plumbing takes a simple interest 180-day note from a contractor with a face value of $64,750 and a rate of 10.5%. The company sells the note to a bank 50 days later at a discount rate of 12%. Find the proceeds to the plumbing company. All right. I'll be honest with you, I did not need to fill out any kind of diagram when I worked on these problems, but if filling out the diagram helps you, then do whatever helps you. All right. Step 1, find the maturity value. Face value equals proceeds since this is a simple interest note. So we're going to do principal plus interest on the simple interest note. So here's our principal plus then they figured out their principal times rate times time. Really, you should have a parenthesis around this guy. Otherwise, you might get confused and add them and then do it. So those of you that might need that clarity, make sure you're doing that, okay? I don't want you to add prematurely. All right. Step 2, the note is discounted after 50 days. So the discount period is 180 minus 50, which is 130. This means that the buyer of the note will own it for 130 days before the note is paid off. Again, that really didn't help me. The diagram I didn't need it, but if you guys need it, that's fine. Here we're going to find the bank discount. Okay, remember they're taking that full maturity value times the rate times the time, that time difference. And then they're also finding the proceeds, which is the amount that they actually will be receiving. So the following occurs. A contractor signs a 180-day simple interest note with a face value to the plumbing company. After 50 days, the plumbing company sells the note to the bank and receives the following in cash. The bank receives the $68,149.38 on the maturity date of the loan. All right. Is that good for everybody? Are we cool? Okay. All right. Matador Recording Studio holds a 200-day simple interest note from a rock group that agreed to pay them to record an album. The 12% simple interest note is dated March 24th and has had a face value of $48,000. The recording studio wishes to convert the note to cash, so they sell it to a bank on August 15th. Although the rock group is well known and has had some success with prior albums, the bank still considers the loan risky and requires a high discount rate of 12.5% to find the proceeds of the recording studio. Step 1, find the maturity value. So that's kind of, I guess this is a true side note, sorry. I guess that's kind of cool. So if the banker or the bank knows of the band and they don't consider them a risk, I guess the rate could be lower. So that's a bit interesting. So the note is dated for March 24th and is due in 200 days. The due date is as follows. So remember, we have that one chart or table that will help you with this, but so day 83 is where we find that in the chart. Please don't sit here and like add this all up because you can totally look it up. If you don't understand the chart, use Google. You're completely fine doing that. So then we're looking at October 10th. Since this is a simple interest note, the proceeds are given, but the maturity value must be found. Okay, so we have interest, and then, so I like this method better. Do you see how here they split it up? They did the interest first, and then they added. Okay, so that approach might be better for some of you. All right. So the maturity value is 51,200. Make sure you write in the make sure you write in the interest as well, how you found it, even though that's a review. And someone remind me, why do we use 360? Aren't there 365 days in a year? Why do we use 360?
That's how many days are in a year.
So there are 365 days in a year, but remember we use 360 because it's easier for the banks. So anytime that we have anytime that we have a problem, we are going to use 360 unless they specifically say the actual or exact. I think they use the term exact. And when you see exact, you're going to use 365. But for the vast majority of our problems, we will use 360. Good job. All right, step 2. Now discount this simple interest note. Find the discount period. So the discount period is the number of days from August 15th, which is the date the note is discounted or sold to the bank, to the due date of the note, which is October 10th. So that will be 56 days. This diagram might help some of you a little bit better, but honestly, I would just take, what I did is I took the length of the loan, and then I subtracted to get the August 15th date, and then I added to get to the October 10th. So I did mine a little bit different, but either approach would get you there. As long as you get the 56 days, you're fine. Okay. I don't know why they tell you this. I guess maybe if you were asked it, but I don't think you have a question like that on the homework. It may be on one of your quizzes and it might be on the exam, but it's not on the homework. I don't recall asking for how long companies held on to something. Okay, so the buyer holds the note for 56 days before the Rock Group must pay off the note. Find the bank discount. Okay, so here you have all your information. Okay. Find the proceeds. Proceeds are found by subtracting the bank discount from the maturity value. Oh, that was probably too quick. So you're going to subtract the 51,200 by the almost nearly 1,000, and you get 50,204.44. So the following occurs. This is just their breakdown. I don't think I'll ever need you to write it out like this. As long as you do the math, I'll be happy. Any questions on an example like that? because you will have similar ones to the homework, but it won't ask you the exact same questions. You will have to answer some questions in terms of dates. So be careful with that and definitely know how to work that chart. All right. So this is how to find proceeds when discounting a simple discount note. First, understand the simple discount note by finding the due date of the original note, the discount of the original note using the M times D times T, and then the proceeds by doing the subtraction. Maturity value or face value of the note is written on the note itself, needed in step 2B. Okay. All right, you guys can read that. All right. So you have to find the discount period, find the discount, and then find the proceeds. I'm going to assume that there is going to be an example of which we can glean so much information. I was right. Garcia BMW uses excess cash to purchase a $100,000 treasury bill with a term of 26 weeks at 3.5% simple discount rate. However, the firm needs cash exactly 8 weeks later and sells the T-bill. During the 8 weeks, market interest rates moved up slightly so that the bill was sold at 3% discount rate. Find the initial purchase price of the T-bill, the proceeds received by the firm at the subsequent sale of the T-bill, and the effective interest rate. Okay, so here we find the discount and the proceeds. So the U.S. government receives $98,250 from the sale of the T-bill. Find the discount period, discount, and proceeds. T-bill is sold 18 weeks before it's due. Again, they're showing you a little diagram. Again, if that helps you guys, go for it. I will not be able to show you any kind of example like that with your homework because I did not use that approach. The discount at the time of the sale is as follows. So here's the discount. So then they subtract it, and then that's how they found it. All right. Questions on how they did that? Okay. So Garcia BMW paid $98,250 to buy the T-bill and received $98,961.54 for it 8 weeks later. So that is an effective rate of 4.71%. Yeah, I'm not reading that to you. That's, if you want to read it later, you can. Otherwise, it's good to go. Okay, any questions on chapter 9? Okay, I'm going to stop the recording.